Hi folks, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to go through the full end-to-end process of building a project with Lovable. We've got a few ideas up our sleeves that we're going to try out. So let's jump straight into Lovable and see what the process is like. I've never used it before, so we're going to go through the whole sign-up process and all the rest of it and see what happens. So first things first, when we get to the Lovable site. So let's just reload the page. Asks us to enter in an idea into the chat. Now here's the thing. Now, usually when you do this, what happens is you click go and asks you to sign up and then makes you do it all over again. If it's going to do that, I'd probably pause, sign up and come back to it and start the video all over again. So let's see how that goes. So I'll go into here and grab this idea, which is something we came up with earlier. Put that in there, hit go, sign up for free. That's what I thought would happen. My credentials, I'll change them later so we don't have any issues by the time this video goes live. So I'll go into my email, there's the verification, click the verification, off we go, email verified. What best describes your role? Entrepreneur, business owner. Where do you work? By myself. Very stressful. What will you mainly use Lovable for? Work professional. Coding experience. Plenty of experience telling developers what to do. Not much experience developing myself. What are you looking to build? Paste again. So like we were saying earlier, it makes you go over it again. Where did you hear about us? I can't remember. Maybe YouTube. Let's give YouTube some credit. Off we go. Okay, let's retain the text, which is better than other platforms. Often it doesn't do that. So let's send this off and see what it does. So it's doing some analysis. I love the concept. Okay. Just giving me some features, design elements. Okay. It's using Tailwind. Okay, so it's decided on what stack it's going to use by itself. Probably would have been good to connect Supabase, but it doesn't ask you to do that first. I guess it will do that eventually. Or maybe GitHub. I've got GitHub, so I've got both, so I could use either. Let's see how this goes. So it's coding, I'm watching. So far there's no preview of what it's doing. I guess, yeah, no preview yet because it's still in the throes of setting up the basics, I guess. And I picked an idea that's very testable. So I picked an idea that basically we can grab a bottle of cosmetics, check the ingredients, and this will tell you what all the nasties or goodies are in the back of the ingredients. It's something that's quite easy to test if we deploy this, whereas some of the other ideas we have are a bit harder to test without getting into more complicated scenarios. So let's see what it does. This could take a while. I might need to pause and come back to this. I don't know if you guys are getting much out of watching lines and lines of code being written. So I might pause this and pop back in a second. Decided to pause. It actually finished. So here we are now with the results. So it said I've created a beautiful cosmetic scanning app with a premium minimalist design. So let's have a look what it's actually done. Okay, what I can do next, tweak the design. Okay, GitHub. So I won't do that just yet. Let's have a look here. So if I click scan ingredients, it's going to ask me to allow my camera. Okay, I might need to go and get something for it to scan. So I can come back. Mobile preview mode. Okay, that's cool. Upload image. I guess it's got a light or dark mode. And a history. Oh, look at this. It's got some examples in the history, even though we haven't done anything yet. That's not bad. And it's given it a brand. Skin clarity. Not bad. And if this works, you guys are going to have to go find another idea because I'll publish this one. So let's see how we go with doing some of its requests. I've actually taken a photo of a bottle simply because we're testing this on desktop when it really should be on a phone. So I'll upload that image. I'll get away from these files and go over here. Let's see if it likes that image. Or maybe on my desktop I got the JPEG version. Here we are. Let's try that out. It's analyzing. Ooh, use with caution. Some ingredients may cause irritation. So it's got a breakdown of the ingredients. Water. Okay, it's a solvent, of course. Okay, so it's going through and actually giving us a rating for each of the ingredients, telling us whether it's going to work or not in terms of irritation for your skin, fragrance, retinol, sodium something or other sulfate. So it seems to be working. I'll have to actually go onto the web and do a sense check to see if it's correct or not. But in terms of whether or not Lovable will deliver what you ask it to deliver, so far so good. And if I go into the scan history is dummy, so maybe we update that. Let's say the scan history only shows dummy entries at the moment. Can we make this functional to show actual scan history? Yeah, we may need an account area, but let's see what it does with this, whether it can do it without an account. So let's see how that goes. It's our second prompt. So this is pretty good. I would say in terms of comparing this with the likes of Replit, which I'm using on a daily basis. When I first used Replit, I think I rebuilt my project about 4 times before I got a result. And I never got a result on the first go. It was never with the first prompt. The first prompt usually gave me some janky rubbish that I had to fix up. And it would have taken 4 or 5 prompts before I had anything usable. And I would have had to get really specific. And the other problem with Replit is sometimes the more you dive into it, the more it breaks something. And you have to have a bit of knowledge of how it builds and how to prompt it to get a result. Whereas this seems to just be fine with just plain English conversational prompts. So far so good. I haven't run out of credit yet. That's impressive. No scans yet. Try again. Okay, so that's good. So let's upload. Try again and see if it builds this into the scan history. It's encourageable that the scan has shown the same results. So it's not hallucinating. It's not creating results out of thin air. But the scans are not coming up. Okay, so let's include image uploads into the scan history. It should be history of any, should be analysis history maybe. So regardless of the source of the image, it includes a record of it in the history. That makes sense? Let's see. Wish I had some waiting music for you guys. Maybe I should do that on the next video. Let's have a look at what it's doing. And this is quite good UI that you can just click here. I'm not juggling tabs, which is something you often have to do in Replit, juggle all the different tabs. I'm sure I'll find that there is more complexity in this once I get further into it. I like that it has the select to edit function. Now Replit has this, but for some reason it's not enabled. V0 has it, and it's quite effective. Tempo AI has it, but the results are pretty crappy when I've used it. Like, for example, in Tempo AI, I've seen profile avatar images with a dummy avatar. I've tried to upload my own avatar for a portfolio site, and it just breaks. Just fills it with a broken image. So let's test this out in a moment to see how it reacts. But yeah, track the display of source images in the scan history. Camera capture. Okay, so let's try again. No scans yet. Okay, so still having issues. Maybe if I try it here. Okay. I think I have to refresh this version. And one last try. If it doesn't do it this time, I think what I'm going to do is ask it about the database. Where's it storing the scans? Okay. Let's have a look. Is there any reference to a database? Not that I know what I'm looking for. Oh, look, it's using Lucid icons, same as Replit. It's just good for design. Lucid has a lot of icons you can use for UI. It's a huge library of icons. Don't see anything to do with a database. So the best way to go about this, when you see something like this happen, is don't try to direct the AI to build a database. What you do is oh no, here we are, ingredients database. Okay, so that's where it's sourcing. the details. So there is a database somewhere. Okay, so how are the history entries stored? Because when I do a test, I don't see the test in the history section. In the history tab, what are we calling it? In the history area of the app. Ask a question. See what it says. Now, often when you do this, save the scans as an error. Quota exceeded error. Browser storage limits reach. It's doing it in the browser. Might need to do something about that. Well, anyway, this is pretty good for a first attempt. I might change a few things, like let's just see how this function works. Okay. Wow, okay. So you have some visual tools for editing. I think for an app we should move that to the bottom. Can we move the menu to the bottom of the app? Can we pin the menu? App screen when viewed on mobile devices. It's good to be specific because we don't want that to happen in a web browser. On desktop, keep it where it currently is. Let's see what happens. Good. It understands. It's going to implement a bottom nav bar, code view, preview. That's how you switch tabs. Okay. I see. View history. Okay, so these are the checkpoints. Great. And you can bookmark them. That's impressive. So some good features here. And based on what I'm finding so far, I would recommend this over Replit. Depending on the pricing, which no one's even mentioned pricing yet. I haven't heard anything about pricing yet, which is kind of cool. Let's see how far they get with pricing if I go hit publish. Okay, so it's done what we've asked it. On web, it's up here. On mobile, it's down here. I don't know what the third option is. I need to ask it what that third option is. What does this button do? Oh, there we go, pricing. I spoke too soon. I knew it would come up sooner or later. Okay, so $20 a month, $50 a month, or 100. Okay, it's fairly reasonable. It's similar to what you would find on Replit. Let's see what the limits are. Considering I nearly built an entire app. Daily limits reset at midnight. So this is similar to the V0, Vercel's V0 setup, which is reasonable. Lets people try it out without it costing them anything. The freemium model. So custom domain. So yeah, if you're serious about it, you would upgrade. It's like you're paying a web hosting fee, nothing major. Unlimited private projects. That's cool. Okay, so let's do that. Let's see what happens when you publish. I guess it hides all of the nonsense in the back end when it comes to publishing. Like what's the database and all the rest of it. Hasn't even asked me any of that, whether it's static or whether it's scalable or anything like that. So that's pretty cool. That I think wraps up our demo of Lovable. So what I've found so far is it's a lot easier to use than Replit. It's less error prone so far. Considering there is a few things in here that probably need more in-depth work. It's the same level of intuitive AI that you would find in Replit. They're probably using the same models. They've just got different constraints on the models to make it more structured. So yeah, so far so good. I would recommend using Lovable. If you were to go head-to-head, Lovable versus Replit, don't know yet. Maybe I'll know in about a week from now. I'll post a video on that. But for now, I think this is a good balance. It's somewhere between the visual tools of Vercel V0 and Replit. So it's pretty balanced and it looks user-friendly. I'm yet to try things like attaching a UI and an image or, before I wrap up, these are all the things I was looking for. So in Replit, all of these are tabs. So I guess knowledge base is... Oh, okay. Okay, so you can give it some background on what you want to do. So this is kind of like pre-training context. Impressive. This is where you would connect your Supabase or GitHub. It's nice. So it's not letting me click any of those, I guess, because... Oh no, that's fine. So once you're here, you can't swap. Oh no, it's letting me swap. Just it was stuck when I was in knowledge. That's good. Okay, so this is what you would expect to get in the tabs area of Replit. So it's very similar. And I guess the deployment area, you've got your controls here rather than in the deployment tab. So you add your domain and manage your settings here. That's using ShadCN as well. So yeah, very similar to V0. Okay, so let's wrap up. For today, I would say if I was giving this a star rating, I would give it a 5 out of 5. It's exceeded my expectations. I understand why now Lovable is the fastest growing startup in Europe. That makes total sense. And I'll recommend this to anyone wanting to give it a try. Yeah, good luck, guys, if you're out there trying to build an app. And if you have any questions or comments, please hit me up, and I'm pretty responsive in chat. Yeah, catch you next time.